final shot, it seemed like everyone, it was in.
Oh man. I mean, I thought it was in, and did it hit the glass? I couldn't really see from my angle, but it looked like it was down, but popped out. So good effort, really good effort, some big time shot making towards the end, and definitely proud of the group, especially since we had to play small towards the end.
Yeah, going with the lineup that you did at the end there. I mean, I know you were obviously short quite a few guys, but not putting Garrison back in. I know he was shooting it super well tonight, but can you guys detail the line decisions at the end?
Yeah. So Alperin had a lower leg contusion, so he was out. So I put JT in to play the 5, and KJ and Josh were playing well at the time. So having those guys out there at the end, I felt was the right move. And, Garrison's shooting will come back. That's what happens. It goes up and down at times, but he'll be fine.
Coach, it seems like Kevin and John, as the games have gone on, they've found a way to play off each other more.
Yeah.
What's up in the bench?
Yeah. I mean, Scoot is definitely not a selfish player at all. And there's times where maybe he has it and he gives it up to Jalen. And I thought early in the game especially, he was looking ahead and trying to get guys on the move, whether it was Jalen or JT, or skipping the ball in transition, which shifts the defense, and now you can attack closeouts. But yeah, it wasn't like they were it seemed like they had a very together game, those two. They're starting to find chemistry between the two of them, which is needed for sure. And for them to combine for 56 points is great for us. But I think the main thing that is important for those guys is the assists, where they combined for 11 assists and only 3 turnovers. And with the issues that we've had with turnovers throughout the season, but especially at the beginning of the season, them playing together is good.
The way Josh is playing is just the result of how much hard work he puts in and day out, correct?
100%. I mean, he has his ups, he has his downs as far as the games are concerned, but he never has a down day when it comes to work. And that's important when you are your minutes are kind of up and down, and he's been in every game pretty much, but the way the rotation kind of works out, some nights it gets more than other nights, but what is consistent and what is really good is his work. And tonight was another example of him putting the work in and then having the result.
We talk a lot about Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green being able to play off each other, but are you starting to see that too with Josh being able to kind of be more comfortable playing off of those two guys when he's, in off the bench and slotted up, matched up with one of those guys in the backcourt as well?
Yeah, this is a time of the season where we can see a little bit more of that too. Like we haven't had very many times where those 3 guys have been on the floor together. So yeah, this time of year is a time where we can see a little bit more of that, and those guys can play together and play off each other and hopefully find some success.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like this is a game where you see growth in your team? I mean, they're still fighting for a playoff spot, and y'all just kept fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I see growth in this group. It seems like every day, even when we lose, I feel like there are moments or areas that we grow. So yeah, they're a team who is right there trying to make the playoffs, and we were right there toe to toe with them and played hard and played through adversity and gave up 48 points in the paint in the first half, but only gave up 24 in the second half. So yeah, it shows some character from our group and some fight, especially with our young group of guys that we had out there looking out. I was telling the referee, we had 4 20-year-olds and a 21-year-old out there at one point, and he just shook his head and laughed.
Does it mean something to you to see them care and want to win the way that they did, falling behind as many times as they did and coming off of the trip?
It does mean something to me, but I'm not surprised about it. Like, it definitely is something that I'm proud of, but not surprised at all, because we have good character in that locker room and super competitive guys. I mean, super competitive. So, yeah, with 7 games, now 6 games left in the season, you don't want guys just kind of, excuse me, letting go of the rope. But yeah, it does make you proud as a coach.
Was it other points? I'm sorry.
What are you hoping to see? Like, as you said, you see growth every game. What kinds of things are you looking for as you kind of get to the end of this season?
Yeah, I guess it's more about the coming together as a team, and like our team game improving. You see the individual guys improving. You saw Jalen tonight, where he went right and used his shoulder and finished. And that was something new. But that's a result of him working in the weight room with Willie and working on the floor. And I want to, over these last 6 games, make sure that the individuals are improving and continuing to improve and continuing to work. But I also want our team game, as it did tonight, to kind of come together and finding ways we had 26 assists, finding ways for us to help each other play well and not have very many selfish moments. And we're not a selfish group at all, but there's times where you just want to make sure that everybody's pulling in the same direction. And that's the main goal.
Was the points in the paint early on wasn't just due to lack of communication from the lineups?
It was more of a factor. Pirtle was hurting us, and then the penetration from Murray was hurting us. So we weren't shrinking the floor at all and not allowing them to get in the paint. There were wide gaps for them to drive into or for them to dive into for offensive rebounds. And they, I think at halftime, they had 9 offensive rebounds and we had 12 defensive rebounds. So yeah, it was less about communication, more about just like tactically, we have to do a better job of packing the paint and being intentional about going to get the basketball.
You mentioned before the game that this is kind of the stretch of the season where you're able to start taking a look at some of the guys, towards the end of the bench with Usman Gruber and Dacian Nix. What did you like out of their minutes tonight in this game?
Yeah, I was just happy for Us to kind of be out there, and he's very versatile defensively. It's going to be up to him to get more comfortable on the floor and keep his hands back, and still use his gifts because he has great hands, but there are times where he'll foul. And then for Dacian, having the ball in his hands, getting guys in the right spots, making the correct reads, and being a steady point guard on the floor. That's what I want to see from both guys.
With Usman, how important or valuable could it be just to feel a little better about this season as he goes to the off-season work that's ahead of him?
That's a great point. It is very important for him to feel good about his position on this team, his worth for our group, because he's talented and he hasn't really gotten a chance this year. And we have such high hopes for him and we're so positive about him. And but he needs to feel it as well. And I think having actual game experience will help him with that. And we're excited about him. Definitely excited about him.